right, so first we will start with calibrating our spectrophotometer. So you click on this, go to calibrate. So first it takes a dark sample. You want to not move as this happens. Don't change the light over the meter at least. It's done doing that. So we wait for it to warm up. In the meantime, we take a cuvette and fill it with DI. I've already done that here. It's got a B on it for blank. So once that's done warming up, we will insert the blank into the photometer and it'll take a blank sample of that so it knows what to cut out. So we'll wait for 60 more seconds while this... All right, so now that the bulb's warmed up, we'll take our blank cuvette. And so on these cuvettes, we have these arrows here. We line that up with this arrow on the box. Just drop it in. Back over on the LabQuest, you just hit Finish Calibrate. And then just note the sample time. You can hit OK. All right, now that we've calibrated our spectrophotometer, we can begin looking for the lambda max. So first, what we want to do is make sure our meter is set up in absorbance, which it is. We want our mode to be full spectrum. 380 to 900 is a great range. 400, 900 works as well. We'll go over here to the graph. So first, we'll set up this graph a little bit. So we'll go to graph options, and we're going to change our range. So we want our right column to go up to 900. So we'll just do that, hit done. Everything else here is okay. We hit okay. And then we have this color spectrum here, but it's a little distracting, so we like to turn it off. So you go graph, show spectrum, and off. Now we're almost ready to start running. So we'll take our blank cuvette out. So we will take our first sample, which is the mother solution. Once again, line up your arrows with the arrow. Just drop it in. We're ready to go over here on the LabQuest, so we'll hit play. And perfect, look at that. Now we'll stop it. We got this great peak. So what we're looking for our lambda max is where on this graph it's got the highest peak. So you can just click on it right there. So right down here, it shows us what our wavelength is. On this, it's 594.4 nanometers. Make sure you write that down in your lab book. And also, definitely notate your absorbance. Let's go ahead and save this graph. So you'll want to make sure you have your flash drive inserted into the LabQuest. File, export. We're going to change our name to, name it whatever you want so it's easy to find. I'm going to go CVFS, done, hit OK. Now we have that saved. Now that our full spectrum is saved, we'll go back to the home. We'll change, that's still in absorbance. We're going to change this from full spectrum to selected events, units, nanometers. All that's good. We'll hit OK. We've already exported this, so we can just hit discard, or we can save it. So now we're just continuously reading at this absorbance, and you can see it but jumps around a little bit, so we can tell it's continuously reading. So now, back over on our spectrometer, we can take out the first sample and just start going through each sample. So next we'll have sample 2. Once again, arrows with arrows. Back over on your LabQuest, wait for it to stabilize around a certain number. Looks like we're at 0.781, 0.780. So once you feel good, write it down, and you'll be ready to move on to the next sample. So now we'll go to sample 3. And let this stabilize a little bit. Okay, 155, we'll call it that. Move on to sample 4. Once again, let it stabilize. I'm going to say 0.053. Now we're on to our final sample, sample 5. All right, so we will call that 0.022. Sounds good to me. And that is it. Once you have all your concentrations and absorbances written down for part A, that is good.